Greetings. You know what? I'm a consultant. I'm a good consultant, and I'm also a bad consultant. That's going to sound kind of stupid, but let me explain. I'm a good consultant because for all the years that I've been a consultant in healthcare, and a little bit in leadership, but let's talk healthcare for now. Every place I have gone to do some work, I have left it better than when I got there. Because I was the type of consultant who believed that you go in to help. You go in to try to fix something that's broken. You try to get people to understand why something wasn't working, and you fix it. Or if it's up to me to fix, then I fix it. Because I figure that my reputation is on the line, and that's what I should be doing. So, in that regard, I think I'm a good consultant. But I'm also a bad consultant. And here's why I'm a bad consultant. Because it has never been my intention in anything that I have done at any facility I've ever been at, whether it was for me or whether I was working for someone else, to find reasons to keep me there to generate more revenue, or in my case, to continue getting paid for a longer period of time than what I've been contracted to do, just because I wanted to stay there. I wanted to keep making money. I wanted to keep bleeding them. You know, there are some major consulting companies, and they're not all healthcare, but they're major consulting companies. And it's really their intention to generate revenue. It's not really their intention to fix anything. There was a company, I'm not going to name who they are, because, well, one, they're not here anymore, so why even bother? But I got two brief stories. The first story is I did a project for this company back in 2003 in Dallas. And I was recommended by someone. So I go down there, and I'm down there in Dallas, and I was there 3 weeks, and then I worked a week at home to write up a final report. So I'm in the middle of the second week, and this guy shows up, and he's, I don't know, I felt like he was smarmy. You know, he came in, he was really slick. He was one of these like big talking guys, and it just didn't seem to be any substance to him. And so he comes in to talk to me because I'm there for a specific purpose. I was a consultant to the consulting company, so I didn't work for those people. And so we start talking about what I'm doing. Sorry, you had to rub my eye. So we start talking about what I'm doing, and I'm telling him what I'm doing, and he stares at me. And he says, "Have you ever done this kind of work before?" To which I said, "Well, yeah, I've been doing this kind of work for a long time. Why?" And you know, I thought nothing about it. I did the project the way I was supposed to do. And then some months later, I was asked to do a one-day visit and project for this hospital in Alabama. It's like, I don't want to go to Alabama, but I went. And it turned out not to be bad. I knew a couple of people who lived down there. They got me out for breakfast one day. I got to see what grits were like in a restaurant for the first time ever, because I've always only had my own grits. So that was kind of interesting. And I get down there, and she tells me that the consulting company had had an issue with how I did things. I said, "Well, what? I did the project the way it was supposed to." "No, I didn't, because they wanted me to find things wrong so they could be there upwards of at least another year or 2 years. They didn't want me to solve anything, but I solve things because that's what I do." And I decided I'm going to track this company because I'm like that. Sometimes I get a little vindictive, I will tell you the truth, and I just want to track someone, and I need to prove a point. So I tracked this company. And 3 or 4 years later, they were working at a hospital in Los Angeles. And it was a big company, by the way. And I know this because the hospital they were working at was a public hospital. So they couldn't hide anything that they were doing. It was in the local newspaper, Los Angeles Times. And so I was reading these things. And so they were in there. And this hospital had been cited by the state. There were 92 violations, things that needed to be fixed. So they brought this company in to try to fix that. They were there 2.5 years, and they fixed one thing. One thing. And they soaked the city of Los Angeles, basically this hospital, because it was a city hospital, they were soaking the city of Los Angeles for about $15 million a year. And what they were doing was a shame. They had people coming from all these different places throughout the country. Some of them would come for 2-day stays. Some would come for 3. Some would come from out of the country. Why would you need a healthcare consultant from out of the country? But they had these people flying in from everywhere. And I remember there was one thing where they had a nurse consultant, of all things, who came in. She rented a car, and she had liked the car so much that she decided to just basically keep the car because she was coming every week for just 2 days. And so she's parking the car in a garage instead of turning it in and getting a new one. Y'all know how much that cost? So in other words, she's only there 2 days, but she's billing the hospital, might as well just call it that way, for 7 days, plus parking at the airport. Airport parking is not cheap. They kept doing this thing. In 2.5 years, they fixed one thing. And their reasoning for that was they said, well, we didn't realize things were as bad as they are. And, we've had some difficulties getting through and getting people to do what we need to do. Let me tell you something. If you got 90-something violations and you can't take care of at least 25% of them within 2 or 3 months, you're not trying. You just are not trying. Because I've done that. I went into a hospital where they had lost $165 million in 3 years. And in the first month, I fixed, well, let's see here. The hospital ended up making $730 million more in the year that I was there. So pick a number. He did that. As a matter of fact, the first day I was there, I took care of a problem that they had been having that took care of basically 25% of the denials that they had been getting, because it was just something I looked at and I fixed it. Things are not that difficult. Either you are going to be a good consultant, which means you're going to do the job that they brought you in to do, or you're going to be a bad consultant, which basically says you know what's going on, but you're not going to try. I'd rather be a good consultant than a bad. Now, the reason I talk about bad is because I have a friend of mine now who's been trying to get in to a consulting company, and she's got the qualifications. She's been doing the work for a long, long time. What's the problem? She's never worked for a consulting company. Not like that. So therefore, she keeps getting turned down. I know what that's like because back in 2011, 2012, I decided, you know what, I'm going to put in for this position that I saw. Paid really well. I could do the work. I knew it backwards and forwards. And so I actually had the first interview. Went 45 minutes. It went well. And then 2 days later, I get the letter turning me down. I was like, wonder why. Then I thought about it. Because I had been an independent consultant. I hadn't been a company consultant, which basically means that I didn't go into places to generate more revenue. I went into places to fix things. Isn't that weird? Now, here's the thing that I want to go with, because I'm just going to defer a little bit. There are a lot of people out there who are going to tell you how you can make money. They're going to tell you how you can be an affiliate marketer, but they're not going to tell you everything. If you've ever paid attention to some of these people, they will usually have a free seminar. And the free seminar, maybe an hour, hour and a half. I hate those, by the way, so I don't even participate anymore. But back in the day, I did. So they've got this long seminar, and they're telling you that they're going to do all this stuff. And maybe you get 5 minutes of advice, and the rest of it is like the build up. They're just puffing you. And then they'll tell you, now, if you want more, then you've got to pay blank to go to the next one. And some people pay that. And then they go to the next one. And you know what? They get the same type of thing. Oh, but now you can pay this much, and we're going to really dig deep, and we're going to give you more. It's a scam. There's just so many of these people. They are good and bad. They're good marketers and they're bad marketers. and they would rather be bad marketers because those are the people who make a lot more money. Some of the big names that you know in the industry of motivation, they do some of that stuff. I'm not going to mention names once again, but they have different levels of the presentations that they do, and each one costs more and more money. And the thing is that during the presentations themselves, they're pitching the next big thing that costs you more money. So you can't even go to one of those things and get all the information, and then maybe at the end of the day and whatever, maybe then you hear about something. No, you hear about it all day long. I am a good consultant, and I'm a bad consultant. Some people are good marketers, and some of them are bad. Some of them are good trainers, and some of them are bad. Which one are you? Which one would you rather be? Which one do you think you're going to make the most money from? And which one of these do you think is the most ethical? That's what I got to ask you today. That's what I talked about. My name is Mitch Mitchell. Think about this one for a bit. If you like it, give me a like. Give me your opinion. Let me know your thoughts. And I'll talk with y'all later.